Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, honoured guests, mentorship, mentoring, a word that we hear quite often. What does it mean? An advisor, a consultant? Well, allow me to define it in my own way. A mentor enables higher performance in the mentee or the protégé. That's what I'm going to talk about tonight. I was very privileged last May to represent Cyprus at the district competition for evaluation. And there I felt the value of being coached and being mentored. Though I didn't have one formal mentor, each one of you rallied round me and you became my mentor. When I stood up on that stage in Athens to speak, what enabled a higher performance was the fact that you, many of you, were there, clapping and cheering. For me, it's unbelievable that the faces that are so familiar to me here could offer me so much strength when I stood there on a stage exposed in front of hundreds of people. Yes, your smile, your cheer enabled higher performance. And that's what a mentor does. A mentor is there at those critical moments when somebody's trying to perform and exceed their level of performance. And I also received detailed comments from some of you who so kindly videoed me and noted things that I had done well. And I remember Miranda, who told me that when I stood up at the finals, the energy, the stance, the body language I held was so different to what I normally use. And that has given me courage and strength. And when I'm being challenged, I think of those words that Miranda shared with me, and I think of that stance that she noticed. So a mentor will pick on small details that can make a big difference to somebody's performance. A mentor may pick small details that may not be at all visible to the common eye. And to illustrate that point a little better, I'd like to take you back in time, to a time when I was 13, a student at English school, forever hopeless at maths. And yet, the maths teacher, Mr. Ambiza, one day, he leant over his big desk, he looked in my direction, and he said, "Aline, you are very good at maths." Now, to somebody who'd always failed at maths or just about got to average, can you imagine how strange that statement must have been from a maths teacher? People used to make fun of me in maths. Other pupils would make fun of the kind of answers I'd give out. So it was very difficult for me to accept this statement from my teacher. And as if to reinforce those words again, he leant right forward, right into my face, and he repeated, "Aline, you are good at maths." And so I became good at maths. That year, for the first time, I got an A in my report. And so it went on to O-levels, to A-levels, until I finally decided to read maths at university. It's a pretty amazing story, and as I remind myself of it, I have goosebumps. That man saw something in me that was invisible to most other teachers. And I am a maths graduate. So a mentor sees potential. A mentor also, through sheer enthusiasm, inspires higher performance in the mentee. After Mr. Ambiza, I was very lucky to have maths teachers who absolutely loved maths. I don't know if some of you have been at the English school, if you remember of a Mr. Boyajian, and Mr. Tavidian, people passionate about maths. And yes, I had confidence in my own abilities, but I did need that ignition year after year to foster this love of maths and this perseverance. So a mentor inspires by his own strength, his own passion, his own commitment. What else does a mentor do for the mentee? I found out the difficult way. 15 years ago, my father, who was always there for me, my father was always there to advise me what to do in difficult times, could no longer advise me. He could no longer make sense. He could no longer talk. He could no longer walk. Because he had an hematoma in his brain. A vessel had burst and was exerting pressure on the brain, and the brain could no longer function. He needed surgery. And I had to choose which doctor would operate on him, to operate on this sensitive organ that gives him light, that gives him sense, that gives him coordination. And I didn't know, and people would try and advise me, this doctor, that doctor, the other doctor, and I was lost. I had to make this choice for my own father. And I was at Evangelistria when I bumped into no other than Anita. And she listened to me. And then she said to me, Aline, whatever decision you take, that will be the right one. Whatever decision you take, that will be the right one. And that opened the doors where there were walls that opened the doors for me. Because she had told me that, don't worry about the decision, go for it, trusting yourself. So a mentor knows words and what to say to unlock and open doors for the mentee. I thank you for that, Anita, because I was able to take the decision and move forward. So a mentee, to summarise, what will a mentee gain from the coach, the mentor? The coach and the mentor will be there to support, will be there to notice small details that make a difference, will be there to spot the invisible, will be there to ignite the passion, and will be there to bring down the walls of obstacles. That is what a mentor does for a mentee. May we be great mentors to each other. Mr. Toastmaster.